Namaste everyone, I'm your co-host Shravani ma'am. Welcome to your favorite learning channel. The topic for today's video is mountain and aquatic ecosystem. So first we would study about the mountain ecosystem today, and we know that this mountain ecosystem is a part of terrestrial ecosystem as it includes the landforms, whereas aquatic ecosystem is a part of water based ecosystem because it includes the water based or water forms of ecosystem. So let's begin with the mountain ecosystem today. The mountain ecosystem. So let's see how is this ecosystem. So this mountain ecosystem includes the living organisms of the mountain area obviously. So it includes, what does it include? It includes living organisms, and these living organisms, they are of which area? They are of mountain area, because here we are talking about the mountain ecosystem. So the harsh climate here can be observed. Okay, so in higher altitudes, because as we are talking about mountains, they obviously would have higher altitudes. So in higher altitude, what can be observed? We can observe harsh climate. Okay, so here there is harsh climate in higher altitude, and predominantly the treeless alpine vegetation can be seen here. So here what can be seen? The treeless alpine vegetation can be seen here, predominantly. Okay, so in specific, in the higher altitude of Himalayan region, the high precipitation is seen. Okay, so this higher altitude can be seen in Himalayan region, and in this region we can observe high precipitation. So the Himalayas, these Himalayas is the highest mountain range in the world. What is this? This is the highest mountain range in the world. So if you are asked that which is the highest mountain range in the world, you can say it is the Himalayas. Okay, and then the Mount Everest. The Mount Everest is the world's highest peak. It is the world's highest peak. Okay, so the flora and fauna of the Himalayas vary with flora, that is the plants, and the fauna, that is the animals of the Himalayas. They vary. They vary with what? They vary with the climate. They vary with climate. They vary with rainfall. They vary with altitude and the soil. Okay, so the climate ranges from tropical at the base of the mountains to permanent ice and snow at the highest elevation. So how does the climate ranges here? Here the climate ranges from the tropical. It ranges from the tropical, that is at the base, that is at the base of the mountain, of the base. Okay, it ranges from the tropical at the base of the mountains. So where there is the base of the mountain, the climate is tropical, and as we move to their highest elevations, the climate goes to permanent ice and snow. Permanent ice and snow can be observed where? These can be observed at the highest elevations of the mountains. So the base of the mountains have tropical climate, and as we move higher, there is permanent ice and snow. So the amount of yearly rainfall increases from the west to east. Okay, so the amount of what? Amount of yearly rainfall. This increases from what? From the west to the east, and this is along the southern front of the range. Okay, so this diversity of altitude, rainfall and the soil conditions combined with very high snow line, this kind of conditions, they together support a variety of distinct plants and animal communities in the mountain ecosystem. Okay, so this was all about the mountain ecosystem. Now let's move on to the aquatic ecosystem. So let's see how is this ecosystem. So it is an ecosystem in water. Okay, so this ecosystem, it is an ecosystem that is in water, and it approximately covers around 71% of the earth's surface. So the 71% of earth's surface is covered by the aquatic ecosystem. So organisms in water depend on each other, and this aquatic ecosystem are of two types. We can say that aquatic ecosystem can be of two types, that is freshwater ecosystem, and the other type is the marine water ecosystem. We will study about each of them one by one now. Okay, we'll see what are the special characteristics of freshwater and marine water ecosystems. So first, if we start or talk about the freshwater ecosystem, freshwater ecosystem. So what are the special features or characteristics or the common features of this freshwater ecosystem? It is that this freshwater ecosystem, it covers 0.78% of the earth's surface. Okay, so here we had studied that aquatic ecosystem approximately covers 71% of the earth's surface, and out of this 71%, Freshwater ecosystem covers just 0.78% of the earth's surface. Okay, so it contains, this ecosystem contains, that is the freshwater ecosystem contains 41% of the the world's fish population. Okay, then this freshwater ecosystem can be further classified into, classification of freshwater ecosystem, this can be further classified into three types. So one is the lentic or lacustrine ecosystem, or this can also be called as still water ecosystem. So here we have slow moving or the still water can be seen here. So in lentic or still water ecosystem, we can see either the water is still or it is very slow in moving. For example, pools and ponds. Okay, so next type of freshwater ecosystem is the lotic or the riverine ecosystem, or the riverine ecosystem. So here what happens, here flowing water ecosystem can be seen. So the water here is continuously flowing. So lotic ecosystem or riverine ecosystem is the flowing water ecosystem. For example, streams. Okay, here the water keeps flowing. Then there are rivers. In rivers also the water keeps flowing. Then the next classification is the wetlands. So wetlands are marshy or swampy lands. For example, this can be seen in Loktak Lake in Manipur, which is a type of wetland, that is they are marshy or swampy lands. So this was about the freshwater ecosystem. Now let's see what are the characteristics of the marine water ecosystem. So what are the common characteristics? Let's understand. So this is the largest aquatic ecosystem. It is the largest aquatic ecosystem. Okay. So it has high salt content. In marine water there is high salt content. That is, the salt concentration here is very high. And marine water ecosystem covers around two-thirds of the earth's surface. Okay, and they have large population of living things, and we can take some of the examples of marine water ecosystem. They are seas, estuaries of the rivers, etc. So these are the examples of marine water ecosystem. Okay, let's quickly revise the things that we have covered today. So, today we spoke about the mountain and the aquatic ecosystem. So, mountain ecosystem is a type of terrestrial ecosystem because it includes the land form. So, mountain ecosystem actually includes the living organisms of the mountain area. Okay. So, in mountain ecosystem, there is harsh climate. Okay. In higher altitude. So, in higher altitudes, we can observe harsh climate, and here the trees are usually, or the vegetation is treeless alpine vegetation can be found here. So, Himalayas are the highest mountain range in the world, and the Mount Everest is the world's highest peak. And the flora and fauna of the Himalayas, they vary with climate, rainfall, altitude, and the soil conditions. So, the climate, how it ranges here, it is tropical at the base of the mountains, and towards the highest elevations of the mountains we can see permanent ice and snow. Okay. So the amount of yearly rainfall that we can observe in these ecosystem, that is in mountain ecosystem, is that the amount of yearly rainfall, it increases from west to east along the southern front of the mountain ranges. Okay. So these conditions, that is the diversity of altitude, rainfall and soil conditions, they combine with the very high snow line, and these conditions together support a variety of distinct plant and animal communities. Then we spoke about the aquatic ecosystem. So what is aquatic ecosystem? It is the ecosystem in water. So this aquatic ecosystem approximately covers 71% of the earth's surface. So aquatic ecosystem can be of two types, that is the freshwater ecosystem and the marine water ecosystem. So what is freshwater ecosystem? What are the characteristics of freshwater ecosystem we covered? That is the freshwater ecosystem covers only 0.78% of the earth's surface, and this ecosystem contains 41% of the world's fish population. Further, the freshwater ecosystem can be classified into three types, that is the lentic or lacustrine ecosystem, which can also be called as still water ecosystem. Then there is lotic or riverine ecosystem, and then there is wetlands. So what happens in lentic or still water ecosystem? Here the water is slow moving or it is still. Okay. For example, pools and ponds. Then in lotic or riverine ecosystem, here we can say that this type of ecosystem is flowing water ecosystem, for example streams, rivers, etc. And wetlands usually comprise of marshy or swampy lands, for example the Loktak lake in Manipur. So here we can see an image of wetland. Okay. There is this wetland comprises of marshy or swampy lands, and this is coral reef. Okay. This is also an aquatic ecosystem. Okay. So this was about the freshwater ecosystem. Then in marine water ecosystem, we learned that this is the largest aquatic ecosystem, and this ecosystem has very high concentration or content of salt, and the marine water ecosystem covers around two-thirds of the earth's surface, for example seas, estuaries of the rivers, etc. So coral reefs can also be very commonly seen in the salty water, that is in marine water, and wetland is a type of freshwater ecosystem. So I hope you all would have got some great insights by watching today's video. Please do not forget to like and share the video. Till then, thank you for watching.